Hola clase. Hoy vamos a hablar de la panorama. So the last part or the last learning target of this unit, we've gotten all of our notes, but we still have to learn about culture. So you can look at this in your V-text, so online at VHL Central, pages 36, 37. Distance learners will actually have the book, so distance learners can actually open to 36 and 37 to follow along. But the rest of us are just going to follow along with this slideshow. So what we're going to do is talk about the Spanish-speaking populations in the U.S. and Canada. So we're going to complete an ed puzzle. So answer the questions as you go along. Here we go. So again, for those who are watching it or going to look at it later in slides, you can do that absolutely, especially when getting ready for your exam or using the exam, taking the exam. You can do this, view this in present mode. So make sure you turn on present mode in your slideshow. So you just click on here, but we're going to just do it together. So here we go. So bienvenidos, that means welcome a los Estados Unidos y Canadá. First of all, we're looking at up at the top, we're talking about en cifras, which means by the numbers. Every time you see en cifras, just know that it means the country by the numbers. So información importante, important information like population and where this, what percentage of the people that are there are from who are Spanish speakers. So let's talk a little bit about some of these. Here we go. United States, if you see AAUU, like on the map here, that is the abbreviation for the United States. It's not USAI. I think I talked about that in class, but for those who haven't heard that, that's AAUU. That means the United States. So it really stands for the plural states, estados, that are united, unidos. All right, and then, all right, Estados Unidos es un país. As you know, it's a country. País is the word for country. We need to know that word. And it's a masculine word too. So, ¿cuál es la población, the population of the United States? Oh, let's take a look. So if you look at the very top, it says población de los Estados Unidos es, it says 317 millones, which would be 317 million people. Now, what's interesting is, as I go through these, there we go, 317 million people. When you look at numbers in Spanish, when we get to those bigger numbers, which we're going to do in Unit 2, just so you know, instead of using commas to denote the thousands or the millions, they actually use decimals. That's kind of interesting. And then also, México es el país más común de origen de hispanos de los Estados Unidos. So if you look at this, it says that what does it say? I can't read that very well. But you can see the biggest part of the pie is from Mexico. So that is the most Spanish-speaking people in the United States are from Mexico. And then we have all the smaller parts. It says, I think 63% of the Hispanic population is from the United States, or from Mexico, sorry about that. And then, ¿cuál estado? I'm going to get rid of my face because you don't need to see that. ¿Cuál estado tiene la mayor población hispana? That is, which state has the highest population, Hispanic population? So we look over here and you can see, what is it? It says California with over 14 million people. California. So that's going to be that answer. All right. And then we go over to the next slide, or actually we're on the same one. So more information about this, and we're just going to follow by. So now we're going to talk about Canada versus United States. We have Canada en cifras, again, by the numbers. And Canada también, we know, es un país. It's a country, right? Un país. ¿Cuál es la población de Canadá? Canadá tiene, as you can see, the whole country, not the of origin, Hispanic origin, but the población. What does it say? What do you think? It's 35 millones de personas. So 35 million people. And then, ¿cuál es el país común de origen de hispanos en Canadá. So people with Hispanic origin in Canada, what do we have? Okay, that's others. So you look at the biggest piece of the pie, 67% are from other Spanish-speaking countries, not from Chile, not from, although these are smaller percentages, 12.4% are from Mexico, 11.6% from Chile, and then 9% from El Salvador, but from other countries. Okay, so it's going to be that one. All right. So, ¿cuáles ciudades, that's cities, ciudades en Canadá tienen la mayor población hispana? So you look here, it says ciudades con la mayor población hispana. Tenemos Montreal, Toronto, y Vancouver. And that's kind of a silly answer, a question at the bottom where it says Miami. Miami está en Florida. No está en Canadá. Okay. All right, and then we have, it says, increíble pero cierto. Here's a banco de palabras, so follow along as I read. So creció means grew, más means more, you know that already. Cada means every. Niños are chicos, children. Se estima means it's estimated, and va a ser means it's going to be. So, increíble pero cierto, la población hispana en los Estados Unidos creció un 48% entre los años 2000 y 2011. 16.7 millones de personas más. Hoy, uno de cada 5 niños en los Estados Unidos es de origen hispano. Se estima que en el año 2034 va a ser uno de cada 3. So, the question, how much creció, grew, la población hispana de los Estados Unidos entre el año 2000 y 2011? What was that percentage? It's not the percentage, but how many people, sorry. That's 16.7 millones de personas. Y en el año 2034 se estima, it is estimated, que uno de cada, how many children en Estados Unidos va a ser de origen español? What does it say? What do you think? It's de 3 personas, okay? So 1 out of every 3, okay? All right. Here are some important places in the United States where Spanish is spoken. San Antonio, Texas, por ejemplo, and there's a monument, the Alamo. El Alamo está en San Antonio, Texas. También el Distrito Misión in San Francisco. San Francisco is known for its missions, so their mission district is in San Francisco. And then, claro, un barrio, that means neighborhood, Latino in Chicago. So these are areas of high Spanish-speaking populations. So, the question, escoge, choose las ciudades en los Estados Unidos de la lista donde se habla español. Where do you think from A through J, where Spanish is spoken? What do you think? Just a guess? Oh, sí, todas las ciudades, everywhere, even San Miguel, Minnesota. Okay, so Minneapolis, Ottawa, San Francisco, Miami, Nueva York, Chicago, and all those places. Tenemos una comunidad muy grande. We have a big community of Spanish speakers in the United States. Aquí hay una celebración hispana en Ottawa, Canada. Vamos a hablar de la comida. Let's talk about food now. La comida mexicana. La comida mexicana de México es muy popular en los Estados Unidos. Los tacos, las enchiladas, las quesadillas y los frijoles frecuentemente forman parte de las comidas de muchos norteamericanos. También son populares las variaciones de la comida mexicana en los Estados Unidos, el Tex-Mex y Cali-Mex. So comida, we know, means food, right? Frijoles, you've all had frijoles, right? Beans, whether they're refried or black beans or pinto beans. But you have, those are some of the staples. We have quesadillas, right? And frijoles, enchiladas, tacos, etc., etc. It's muy común, okay? So es popular en los Estados Unidos la comida mexicana? Is the Mexican food popular in the United States? Pues sí. Pues means well. So pues sí. ¿Qué significa comida en español? What does that mean again? Food. ¿Y cuáles son dos variaciones de la comida mexicana en los Estados Unidos? So two variations of I said it, of Mexican food would be, we have Tex-Mex, see? Tex-Mex y Cali-Mex. So those are just variations. They use a couple of different ingredients. Sometimes the spices and the cilantro and the guacamole and all that can kind of, and roasted versus and barbecued food. So, yeah. Vamos a hablar ahora de Miami. Miami está en Florida. La pequeña Habana es un barrio. And what this really means is Little Havana, okay? Little Havana is un barrio, that's the word for neighborhood, in Miami, Florida, donde viven muchos cubanoamericanos. Es un lugar donde se encuentran las costumbres de la cultura cubana, los aromas y sabores de su comida y la música salsa. La pequeña Habana es una parte de Cuba de los Estados Unidos. So, break it down. We're talking about Little Havana. It's a very popular, very concentrated uh, community where many, many Cuban Americans live. It's where the Cuban music, the food, it's the aromas, the flavors of their food, and then of course, salsa music is very, very popular. So, and this is interesting. They have a Little Habana. Did you know that dominoes are a super, super common game that's played amongst the older folks in the Cuban community? Community. There we go. ¿Cuál es la capital entonces de Cuba? What is the capital of Cuba? You guys know this. It's Habana, Cuba. My nephew spent some time there a couple years ago as a part of St. Olaf's jazz band and it made a really, really cool video that would be fun to show you guys at some point. Then here's some other images again of Cuba or of Little Habana. So Habana Pequeña, we have Little Habana. In Miami, we have these places. Calle Ocho es un barrio muy importante. And it's also got a lot of really cool little, uh, you know, cafes y restaurantes, etc., etc. And again, here's that image of dominoes. Interesting, huh? These little tile places is an interesting thing. Sometimes in Spanish-speaking countries, they use tiles on the sides of walls to either tell you where you are or where the streets are instead of street signs. And then here's a little cool cafe that I kind of love to hang out at. So, roja, blanca y azul son los colores de su bandera. So of course, oops, sorry about that. Calle means street, by the way. So the 8th Street, right? Calle Ocho, it's 8th Street. But roja, blanca y azul are the colors of the bandera de Cuba. That's the flag, okay? Now we're going to talk about some costumbres, some customs of Cuba, and here's some of the important vocab for this. So we have cada means each, desde means since, desfile means parade, gran means great. It's like shortening up grande, which can mean great or big. Carrozas are floats, and merengue is a dance, which we'll see on the next slide. So, costumbres. So the desfile, the parade, Puertorriqueño. We're talking about the Puerto Rican parade. Cada junio, each June, since desde 1958, los puertorriqueños, those are the people from Puerto Rico, we say puertorriqueños. Try that. Puertorriqueños. Good. Celebran su cultura con un desfile en Nueva York. So they celebrate in Nueva York. Es un gran espectáculo con carrozas y música salsa, merengue, the baile, the dance, and hip hop dance. Okay. Here's the merengue. It's a style of dancehall music that originated in the Dominican Republic and spread throughout Latin America and the United States, including Puerto Rico. Merengue, típico, perico, ripiao, is the traditional style that uses string instruments like guitars and bass, accordion, conga, and other drums, and can be either fast-paced with a marching dance step, known as a merengue derecho, or slower paced with syncopated rhythm, known as pambiche. There's also merengue de orquesta or big band merengue, which is also a popular style to dance to, incorporates more instruments. Popular merengue performers from Puerto Rico include Elvis Crespo, Olga Tañón, Giselle, Manny Manuel, Grupo Mania, Limite 21, and more. So here's a little video of them dancing. I don't know what the music is, but that's okay. There's no music, but here's some dance. Lots of movement with the caderas. Oh, I think if you guys go back to the oh, that's so cool. If you go back to the slideshow, you'll be able to actually hear the music. So sorry about that. But does that look difficult? Do you think you'd be able to do this? Maybe we could do this for fun someday and do a lesson. That'd be really fun in class. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. All right. So on to the next slide. Then we're talking about Hispanos in Canada. So, hispanos en Canadá. En Canadá viven muchos hispanos, many people, okay? Viven means they live. Muchos de ellos tienen estudios universitarios y hablan, they speak, una de las lenguas oficiales, either lenguas or languages, either inglés o francés. Los hispanos participan activamente en la vida cotidiana y profesional de Canadá. So that's really interesting that they speak either English or French, and they also, many people still have their native language, which is Spanish. So, what did we learn? ¿Cuántas personas de origen hispano en los Estados Unidos? What did you think? 50 millones. Okay. Los 4 estados con las poblaciones más grandes in orden, where do you think? We got blank, Texas, Florida y California y Nueva York. Okay. Bien. Here's the next one. Toronto, Montreal y what? Son las 3 ciudades, that's cities, con mayor población hispana en Canadá. What do you think? Toronto, Montreal y Vancouver. Okay, that was from our slideshow. Remember, Miami está en Florida. No está en Canadá. Canadá. Okay. Las quesadillas y las enchiladas son platos. We're talking about food here, right? Where are they from? Son mexicanos, okay? And an interesting word, hispano-uridense, just means from the United States, okay? Chino is Chinese, Italiano is Italian. La Pequeña Habana es un barrio de Miami, muy bien. And then in Miami hay muchas personas de origen, where are they from in Miami? Son cubano, muy bien. And then cada junio, each June, se celebra en Nueva York un gran desfile para personas de origen. Remember, this is in New York, the big parade. Where are they from? Puerto Rico, or so it'd be they're Puerto Riqueño. That's the word that means they are Puerto Rican. Muchos hispanos in Canadá hablan what 2 languages? We just talked about that. Okay, besides Spanish, what else? Inglés o francés.